What's up, guys? And today we're going to be talking about Gamescom Opening Night Live, which just happened earlier today at the time of recording. So I just want to get out a couple of my quick thoughts and some things I found interesting about this Opening Night Live. Overall, I actually thought it was a pretty decent show. I mean, some of the talking segments were a little longer than they need to be, but mostly I thought they were kept nice and short. The interviews didn't usually take too long. There was just a few little segments that I thought they probably could have shortened up or split up maybe. But really, overall, I thought it was done pretty well. I thought they had a good spread of games of all different genres and types. In my opinion, that's a good show, even if I don't particularly find my own interest in a lot of them. A good trade show, right, which is what this is, should have at least a little something for everyone. And so hopefully that's what you found as well. There's a lot of stuff in here that I think is kind of cool, but not necessarily like, oh, I'm so excited. But there's a few really pretty good nuggets in there, and so let's dive into it. So I'm not going to cover everything, just the things I'm interested in or found interesting in some way. And yeah, so let's get on it. First up, they did a little sneak trailer preview thing for Borderlands 4. That was kind of like the big starter. That's cool, except I still expect that to be a few years away, since it was my understanding that the main team is the one that was on Tiny Tina. So that was just like, was that 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that? So I can't imagine this is, they say 2025, but I will believe that when I see it. I think this is at least a 2026 game, if not further, but we'll see. They might be trying to ride the coattails of the movie that they thought would be good that bombed, but who knows. They did this massive segment on COD, and here's the thing. I don't care for COD. I'm not a first-person shooter guy. I'm definitely not a military shooter guy. They had like 3 different ones that were not, COD, and then a couple others that are this style of first-person military shooter. That's just not my bag. That said, I thought COD, for what it is, looked pretty decent. I'm still probably not going to play it because I don't care, but I was surprised. I did think it actually looked decent for what it was. They did a cool little snippet of this Joker from Persona 5 as a boss in the Answer DLC for Persona 3 Reload. So that's a separate thing, but that's cool. I don't tend to buy a lot of DLC because once I'm finished with a game, I'm ready to move on to the next one. So unless it's already there when I get into the game and then I play it all together, I just don't usually do it. I don't have a good reason. I just don't. So if you do, maybe that's something you can get into, but I don't know that I will, even though I think this looks pretty cool. This one was weird to me. They did a Black Myth Wukong launch trailer, which is fine, but the game's out. Like, millions of people are playing it and reviewing it and all kinds of stuff. So I think it technically came out today, so maybe that's why, but I don't know. It was fine, but it was a little odd to me. Okay, what else I see? Predecessor? Look, I'm not a MOBA guy, right? I tried League of Legends a couple times. I was like, all right, I'm out. So this isn't really my thing, but I thought some of those characters looked really cool. Some of those kits looked really good. So I still don't, it's a free-to-play game, it's going to be everywhere. So I still don't know that I'm ever going to try this, but I did think it looked kind of cool. So let me know if you've played that or if you like MOBAs or whatever. Let's see. Path of Exile 2. Guys, so if you're a Diablo fan at all, if you haven't heard of Path of Exile, then you're missing out, man. This is a big free-to-play version. It's known for like this insane, massive skill tree system that's like overwhelmingly huge. They're finally launching a new one. Early access is November 15th. That's good. These guys are really, really, really talented developers, and their game completely rivals Diablo, and I think I think this second game is going to be really good. So if you're interested in that, like I said, early access starts on the 15th of November. You can get into that or just wait for the full game to drop, but I would assume this one will be pretty great. Monster Hunter Wilds had another showing here. Every time they show this game, I think it looks incredible. World was good. I wasn't a fan of Rise myself, but World was super good. Iceborne made it way better, and I mean, everything in Wilds looks pretty awesome. So if you're a Monster Hunter person, this is something to look forward to. If not, look for a sale on like the World Iceborne and try it out. I never got into it before that, but you play that for a little while and it's pretty stinking fun. So definitely recommend it. And yeah, Wilds, I mean, the monsters they're showing look pretty awesome. I'm not a fan of that spider thing though. I'm not like scared of spiders or nothing, but I don't like them. And so a giant spinning spider with a like rose on its back, I don't know, that's my deal. Let's see, what else? They had Civilization 7, showed some gameplay. So that's coming in February, so not super long. I thought it looked pretty good. I'm a casual Civ fan, right? Like, I played it when I was a kid. I played like, 5, a decent amount, I would say. It's a fun game, I like the game. I don't know what do they do to change up the formula? Like, I don't know, but it looked cool graphically. And, yeah, I mean, I probably won't play it until it's either in Game Pass or cheap or something, but, Civilization's a good game, so I think it's cool. Let's see. Oh, they did the Shattered Space DLC, got a date for September 30th, and that's DLC for Starfield. They also announced that the shadow drop of the vehicle thing that, again, as I talked about in that leak video, which I'll link below if you're interested, but that was leaked ahead of time, which is kind of lame. But so you're getting vehicles, which is cool, and then Shattered Space, which is supposed to be pretty good. Now, I played Starfield. I liked it, but I got bored pretty quick. However, I don't know that I feel like that's entirely the game's fault. I think my headspace right now, and typically, I can be drawn out of this bag, but typically, I'm a fantasy guy, and that's where all my energy goes. So, I think the sci-fi just wasn't clicking. So, anyway, I think Shattered Space looks cool. I think it's a good opportunity for people who are maybe didn't get in or are thinking about jumping back in or whatever. Again, I'm a Bethesda fan, but I'm just so in the fantasy zone right now. I don't know that even this is going to pull me in like I would want to. But I do think it looks good, and so I might do that eventually. But no promises, All right, this next one was one of my favorite parts of the show. Secret Level. So these guys have made tons of trailers for different games, and they're just incredible. They're really, really talented. And they are doing... with Amazon, as they're kind of like their publisher or whatever, they're doing like these shorts, like season shorts. So I'm not sure if it's going to be like full episodes, short movies, I don't know entirely, but it's all from all these different games. It looks almost like it's going to be, think like Ready Player One, and he's going into all these different worlds. That's what it looked like to me. If you know something else, let me know. But the guy announcing it was like so into it. He's like, you could hear emotion into his voice as he's talking about it. And then at one point he actually like broke down a minute, had to like stop. And
so we've been working on this show for 3 years. I get a little upset, choked up, sorry. I cry a lot. Sorry. All right. We've been working on it for 3 years, and I'm very emotional because I'm so excited. And it's finally time. So please enjoy the world premiere teaser of Secret Level.
And I know some people might laugh at that or make fun of that. But to me, that tells you how passionate this guy is about this project and how excited he is for his studio to be a part of this and how much it means to him that people love what they do. And I think that that's cool. Like, that makes me want to get into his project all the more. It's the same as I talked about this with Game Awards last year with Abu Bakar Salim, who did the Tales of Kenzera Zhao game. that when someone can be passionate about their game or their project or whatever, it's so much more interesting to me to want to get involved in that because they obviously love it. You know what I mean? So I probably would have watched this anyway because I think it looks awesome. But how much this guy, just the raw emotion as he talked about it, like solidifies I'm gonna watch it. It's just so cool. So let's see. After that, we had Age of Mythology, which again, it's kind of in that Civilization style, right? It's it's those city builder whatever, but you raise your troops and you go get them. But this one you can like call on whoever your deity is, and then they come and do like a massive strike or whatever their special is. It looks cool. It's Game Pass, so like to me, I'll just do that and try it out. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Age of Mythology other than I just thought it looked kind of cool, and I do think I will actually download that when it comes out. I think it's soon too. I didn't even write it down, but it's like the 4th of September or something like that. And I might try that out just because it's on Game Pass. You can do it for not free, but as part of your subscription, right? And I don't know that it would be worth it to me to buy it because I probably will only play a little bit, but I definitely want to play that little bit, After that, we finally got a look at Towerborne again, which I still think looks awesome, but it was interesting to me. It says it's coming to Steam Early Access September 10th. So that makes, one, is that Early Access going to be part of Microsoft? Like, is that going to come to Game Pass? I'm not sure. Two, I thought this game was like supposed to come out this fall. They were saying it was going to come out in 2024, and now we're talking Early Access. Now, it doesn't completely, ruin that possibility. Like, Early Access has been used for like 2 months before, but they've started to kind of solidify dates for their games, and so I just wonder where they would slot that in if they maintain a 2024. You know what I mean? So I think Towerborne looks fun. I don't think it's like amazing or top level game or something, but I think it looks fun and something I want to try. But I'm curious as to what's going on there. So then there's this really interesting moment, right, where what's his name, Pete Molyneux? I can never say his name right, but something like that. So this is a guy that made Fable, right, and he's done a bunch of other games. And Jeff gives him this nice introduction, and he comes out and he says, I spent some years at mobile and I don't know what I was doing. That was weird. Why did I do that? And then I thought, I need to come back to console and PC and get the team back together, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, cool. And then they call it's Masters of Albion. And you're like, okay, so it's like loosely related to, or at least in the same world as Fable. So you think, okay, cool. What might this be? I'm thinking at least a third-person action game, or maybe like a RTS in that world, or something along those lines. And then it kind of is. It's like a city builder, tower defense. It kind of makes me think of like what Fortnite was supposed to be, or what's that game? Shoot. What is that game? Oh my goodness. I cannot think of it. Whatever. Anyway, so it's like you gather your materials, you build your base, you can do funny things with the guys, and then at night enemies attack and you fight them off, and you can use like god or whatever, can move the people, can do magic. You can also go third person to your guys and fight them off. The thing though is, this looks like a mobile game. Like not just like the graphics, but the style of it, the like little hand that moves on the screen to like pick up the guys and stuff. It's like, it's so weird to me that he like eschewed the mobile scene, like, oh, what was I doing? And then the game he talks about looks super mobile. I mean, look, I don't know. Maybe the game will be super fun. What do I know? But just looking at it, I felt like that's a mobile game that you ported to console. So, I mean, that's my thought. I don't know what you guys think about that. You can let me know down in the comments, but not my bag, I don't think. After that was a cool trailer for that Unknown 9 Awakening. We've seen this a couple of times now. It's intriguing to me, but very uncertain, right? It's like, it could be really cool. It could be awful. I'm really unsure what to make of it, but it's intriguing. That's like the only word I have for it. It's interesting. It's intriguing to me. I'm curious to know more about it, to see more real gameplay. They've only shown us little snippets of it, and I'm very interested to see what that will be. Now, next up is the one that I am the most excited out of everything they showed at this conference, and that is first Beserker Khazan, or Khazan. I think it's Khazan, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it looks stinking incredible. The graphics are the coolest style. It's like super comic booky. You know, like they use some of that cell shading, but not like overly so. It's still dark and gritty. The combat looks fast and fluid and impactful. Like, man, this looks so cool. If there's a decent story that goes along with it, I am going to be a happy camper. I think this game looks super, super good. So that's probably my favorite of the show. We've seen it before again, but they gave us a better look into it this time, and I thought it looked really good. This next part I found interesting. I'm not interested in the game though, and that was they showed Indy, right? They showed Indiana Jones and the Great Circle again. They said, "Oh, we're gonna show some gameplay," but not really. Like it was like, "Oh, here's a tiny 3 seconds of first-person segment." Oh, here's a look at him grabbing something, but it's still like it's in game, but it's not like you're playing that part. Like no HUD, no nothing like that. So I still feel like they're cutting us a little bit. They gave the release date of December 9th. Cool for people who are excited. I know if you've ever watched Lord Cognito from Iron Lord Podcast or Defining Duke, he's going to be bummed out. He was really hoping for November, but December 9th. But here's the big deal, okay? And this was the big kicker of the show, is that they announced here, which is what I find really interesting, because they could have said it later, but they announced it as part of the show, that it's coming to PlayStation 5 in the spring. So, like 3-month exclusivity, and then going to the PlayStation. That we've all been talking about the games that they've been porting to the PlayStation 5, and that their first party stuff is, they look like they have a good lineup, but how much of it is actually exclusive now is in doubt, and they are proving that yet again with their big releases here. We know Doom the Dark Ages is going to PlayStation. We now know Indiana is going to PlayStation. I would be willing to bet that all of the rest of their big exclusives will be going to PlayStation. Look out for a Starfield to PlayStation 5 announcement next year. I think they were waiting until they get this expansion out, but I bet you that will go too. So yeah, just something to be aware of. Game Pass is still a sweet deal, but it's going up in price. And if you have a PlayStation and not an Xbox, there is less and less and less reason to get one. Now they finally have the games where they frankly probably could get away. If they had all those games exclusive, that more people would be gravitating to that platform because they finally have some games. I know people will go out there saying, oh, they've had games, but not really. They've had like Psychonauts, which don't get me wrong, I'm sure is a great game, but like that's not going to get people to buy your console. Now they have those games and they're porting them all over to other consoles. So that will be very interesting to watch. If you want to have fun, you can watch the meltdowns or the people going crazy online, because I'm sure that will be funny. But yeah, very interesting. I still don't know why they didn't like have that as a post on social media after the event, but whatever, that's what they did. So anyway, that's Gamescom in a nutshell. Opening night live tomorrow, or probably the day of when you're watching this, there will be future game show. So make sure you check that out, and I'll do another recap on that as well. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, Make sure you do all the YouTube jazz, like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff. Don't get me wrong, I need it. Like, that's what helps, the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. So do all that for me. I appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.